Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the No Laying Up podcast. My name is Randy. We're chatting women's golf today. Excited. Big week. Professional side on the LPGA Tour. We have the match play event from Shadow Creek out in Las Vegas. We'll get there. And then also we have the 6th annual Augusta National Women's AM. So, of course, we got to talk about that as well. Joining me to do that, let me introduce my two compatriots. First off, Cody McBride. Cody, how are you today?
Very good, Mr. Big. Thank you for inviting me on your program. For people that are watching on video, by the way, get a quick shout out here. You know, this is a podcast, not just an audio only format. We also have video available over on our No Laying Up podcast YouTube channel. So please go check it out there. Mr. Big, are you moving? What's going on?
Yeah. I've spent really all weekend moving. Today's the last day. We're recording this on the 31st, so I got to be out of the house by 11:59 p.m. If anybody is watching, you'll see a totally stark background behind me. I've cleared out everything except for my little desk and podcast setup. So as soon as we wrap this, I'll be tearing that down and taking it to the new location. We're staying in Denver. It's just a pain in the ass to move, as I'm sure everybody knows. But once we get settled in, it'll be good. Our third person on the show today, that is our good friend, Jordan Perez. Jordan, hi, hello, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. I am not only thrilled to be back on your program, but I'm feeling really old today after you said it's the 6th Augusta National Women's Amateur. Yeah, between having some pretty bad backaches yesterday, just another reminder that the passage of time continues.
Yeah, I know. 6th annual. We're getting up there. Well, let's thank our main sponsor first of all. That is Cody. I believe our good friends at Titleist.
That's right. Hoi Joy Kim was in full control of her Titleist Pro V1 X golf ball on Sunday, closing out her 7th career LPGA title in a playoff. Fun fact, the Pro V1 and Pro V1 X players now have won 5 of the 6 events played so far on the LPGA Tour. Lim Kim, Yolimi No, Angel Yin, and Lydia Ko all won with the Pro V1, which gives them that penetrating ball flight, lower long game spin, high short game spin, and soft feel. Last week's Ford Championship ended with an all Titleist golf ball playoff between Hojo and Lilia Vu, who trusted the higher flying, higher spinning, firmer feeling Pro V1 X model. Gaming the right golf ball model for your game is essential to playing your best golf, whether that's the Pro V1, Pro V1 X, Pro V1 X Left Dash, even the AVX. You owe it to yourself to find out which combination of flight, spin, and feel matches up best for you and gives you more opportunities to shoot lower scores. To find out more and to get the right ball for your game, please visit Titleist.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And thank you to Titleist. Guys, let's start here. Let's start a little LPGA before we move into ANWA. God, I'm double clutching on that already.
Oh, no. Wait, that's a great point, Rand. Jordan, what is it? Please correct us again. I feel like we did this multiple years, but please.
I thought we established this. It's ANWA. But I mean, you know what? I've departed from the block a little bit because I've caught myself saying ANWA a few times. So, you know what? I'm not going to give anybody grief for saying ANWA anymore. Say whatever you want.
Live your truth. I like that.
You heard it right there. Jordan Perez. Whatever you want, people. I don't want to hear it.
No rules. Yeah. Cody, did you catch much of the Ford Championship? Nice little tournament out there in the desert this past weekend. I know the boys touched on it on the Sunday pod, so we don't have to spend a whole lot of time, but fun to see the women back stateside. And I felt like, God, we had a great leaderboard. If that's a sign of things to come, sign me up.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Randy. HJ, when she's back firing on all cylinders, I don't think that there's a more exciting player to watch, really. Her final round 64 came from 8 strokes back. That's where she started her final round to end up beating Lilia Vu in a playoff there. But, guys, hand up here, okay? I think when we did our LPGA season preview podcast, we were doing a little buying and selling statement, and we all called this out. We all sold Lilia Vu.
No, Cody, don't do this. It's too premature.
And guys, but the thing is, I went back and actually listened to it. We all said that this has a very high probability of happening, We just
Yeah.
had no information really to base it off of from last year. I know she battled a lot of injuries. We all cited that, right? I know we talked about kind of an interesting schedule that she put together even when she got on to be healthier. And now if we're starting the year off like this, she's still top 5 player in the world. She made so many birdies. My fear here is that this was her tournament to win, and she ended up losing it. And it not because of like not having a rock solid back nine and making the big putts when she needed them to, but just from again another example of LPGA course setup, and then really people getting hot on these weird Sunday rounds. I remember last year. Remember when Bailey Tardy shot like 60 in the final round? She started like 12 groups back and won the tournament. And you're like, what are we really even watching here? That's kind of how I felt outside of the playoff.
Linnea Strom was like that as well. I think she may have
That's
been the one
exactly
that
who I was
shot
thinking of.
60. Yeah,
Yeah.
but Bailey went low. I know the Lilia Vu, awesome to see her. And I think we're all rooting for her. I think we just were a little skeptical and wanted to see it. There was an interesting quote from Lilia while we're on the subject that I wanted to read to you guys. After the completion of play, she was quoted as saying, this was from an article by Sarah Kellum on LPGA.com. Lilia said, quote, that I have what it takes even with or without distance, said Vu when asked what she's taking away from her runner-up finish at the Ford Championship. Quoting Vu again, I feel like that's something that's been lingering like a chip on my shoulder. I feel like I hit it shorter than everyone, and I feel like I start off the tournament handicapped, end
Huh.
quote. That's a very interesting quote because it made me want to go check out at least the driving distance stats on the LPGA website. And according to their stats, Lilia Vu averages this year about 250 yards off the tee. And so naturally, I started looking up some other women. She's right. I mean, she's given up 20 yards a hole to Gino Titicum, and she's given up like 30 yards a hole to Nelly Corda. If you go off the driving distance stats on LPGA.com. So I think it's just a testament for Lilia. She plays a lot like Lydia Ko, I think, in that she's never going to bomb it. But man, if she keeps herself in position and can rely on the iron play, we know she's a great putter. She rolls in a ton of putts. I mean, that's the formula for her. But I just thought it was fun. I don't know if fun's the right word. Interesting, certainly. And I love hearing Lilia talk about having a chip on her shoulder. Like it's just a great insight, I think, into where her mind is.
I think to feel that way after the Women's Open is interesting.
Right?
Are you going there too?
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe she likes being the underdog. I don't know. But I will say this is that, Lilia finds herself in how they put up these tee sheets and definitely people, the top 10 in the world right now outside of Lydia. She's right. I would say that Randy, did you look at driving? You mentioned her driving distance, but where does that average actually shake out on total LPGA tour? Because she's
It,
not a short hitter. Now she's a
well,
short hitter when you're like comparing yourself to the longest players in the game who are also who she's always playing with. So I can understand that feeling very much the same as on the men's side when you're constantly paired with a Rory or a Bryson or Jake Knapp or any of these other guys who absolutely bomb it. I'm sure I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm giving up so much here. But that is very interesting because that is her reality. And it doesn't
yeah.
really matter what the total LPGA, average comes out to be when you put yourself in that top 10, top 5% of the game, she's spot on. And my question, I guess, would be to her, is she trying to do anything about it? Because
Well,
that's the scary part.
I know. And that's where you get into like the back and some of the
Yes.
injury stuff because I'm looking at if you go to 2023, which was Lilia's big year, right? Won a couple majors, I believe won 4 times. Her driving distance average was 259 yards, which ranked 62nd on the LPGA tour. And so then you fast forward 2024, she lost about 3 yards, give or take, but they dropped her down to 107th. So her driving distance was 255 yards, which was 107th last year. And then so far this year, she's at 250.88 yards, which is good for 122nd. So it is,
Yeah,
we're
it's coming
seeing kind
down.
of a loss of distance, which to your point, I don't know if she's working on that. I don't know if she's able to physically, but certainly something to keep an eye on because, yeah,
Mm.
I think it's a great point that you said. When she's playing well, she finds herself with the Nellies and the Ginos and Ronning Yin and all these women that they do just hit it past her.
Do you know what she needs to do, Jordan? She needs to hit up that stack. Okay, use code no laying up there. Not even on this episode, but that's Lilia. If you're listening to this, come on, start stacking. You're not going to get hurt. You'll be fine. Jordan, you mentioned some women's open. You seem shocked by these statements. I think it's just her wanting to position herself as kind of the underdog.
That's fair. I think it's just like don't get too in over your head about it, because once again, it's like she's finding herself in these places on her own, sort of akin to how Lydia does it. And so, I don't know. I mean, it's just almost like, girl, you got it. Like, don't get too self conscious about it.
For sure. Do you know if I was talking to her and this is 100% just like what I would like in my golf game, they can keep all the distance on the LPGA tour because I don't like outside of really Nelly at certain points in times, there's not that big of an advantage yet. Now we do know, and we've been saying for a long time that those players are going to come when their overall massive distance games are putting themselves in a completely different, zip code than where the chunk of the women are at right now. But I would rather take Lilia's hybrids and Lydia's hybrids and their like overall accuracy that she has with her long irons any day over the week because you've seen longest hitters in the game. I'll go Nelly all the time. Nelly sometimes struggles with wedges because her ball speed is so high that she loses complete control of the spin. And if there's any really, you know, wind or adverse conditions at all, Nelly's kind of, flat footed and doesn't really know what to do. Where it seems like Lilia doesn't really matter what the situation is, what the conditions are. She's there to game and she's ready to go. So really cool to see her there. Big coming in third, looking Allison Corpuz, another name that we haven't heard that much of. Happy to see her there. And then, of course, top 5 from Gino Titical.
Yeah, it's becoming routine. I think this is Gino's 8th top 5 in 11 LPGA in her last 11 LPGA starts. Her 10th top 10 in her last 11 starts. It's crazy. I think Allison Corpuz, that's the one that we haven't seen her in this position really in quite some time. Of course, U.S. Women's Open champ a couple of years ago. And I would just note on the subject of like distance, Allison Corpuz actually ranks like right near Lilia Vu. She's hitting it 251 off the tee. And I was just going to say, going hand in hand with the influx of soon to be, I think we're going to see an influx of distance in the women's game over the next several years. It's going to be interesting how the LPGA, how they go about the course setup, because I think that's the big piece that right now, I'm not sure the way the courses are set up, there's a huge advantage to just hitting the ball as far as you can. And so it doesn't correlate like it does in the men's game. So I think that's if the LPGA ever really starts to set up courses in a manner that really incentivizes and rewards distance, I think we're going to see that influx come in a hurry. So anyway, that's an aside. Great to see Allison Corpuz playing well. She had talked about, I think last year, really working on things, kind of fighting some swing things. She's put in a ton of work, and to see it pay off a little bit early in the year to get her in contention, I just think that's a good thing for the women's game.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just kind of scrolling down the leaderboard here for you, Big. Lydia Ko, T6, rounds of 68, 67, 68, 67, 18 under, and is only good enough for a top 10 for her. It's crazy where these women can be when you put on golf courses that, are just kind of running the mill. Now, we know this is the second year of the Ford Championship. And again, we're at a new course, this time at, what was it called? Wild Horse Pass down in Chandler. Last year, they were at Seville Country Club in Chandler, where I used to work out as a cart boy there. No big deal. But good to see Lydia again, continuing having really good form. If she's going to have a year at all like last year, she's starting it in a really, really good spot. Shout out to LPGA rookie Saki Baba, T6, coming in at 18 under. This is her second LPGA Tour event. She played in the Blue Bay LPGA. She finished T17 there and then got a top 10 here. So it's really looking up for her. You let me know, Randy, I'm still like, so fired up from the interview that we were able to get with her. We went through kind of the highs and lows of her career so far. Obviously, won earlier this year, but continuing really, really good form.
Really good form. Like,
She's
I
got
think
that
there's
putter
a
working.
I know. I think obviously you take Nelly and I think Lilia Vu, but I think Yalimi's putting herself in conversation right at this moment as maybe like the third best American woman out there.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we got a long year to go ahead of us,
We
but
do,
as
we
long as
do,
she can
but it's a
keep.
great start.
For sure. The other person I want to give a quick shout out to is Gabby Lopez, coming in here with the top 10. So she finished tied for sixth here. What an incredible start so far this year for her. Last year, she's very consistent player. She doesn't miss that many cuts. But so far this year, she has a T4 at HSBC Women's Championship, a T8 at the Blue Bay LPGA, and then another T6 here at the Ford Championship. She made the two other cuts this year, Honda LPGA Thailand, and of course the Founders Cup, where she finished T64. But great year for Gabby.
Yeah, listen, I think it'd be cool if she can keep this form going into the tournament that she's helping to bring
Yep.
online this year down in Mexico. It's a fantastic stretch of golf for her. Certainly somebody I think we need to keep an eye on as as the schedule kind of heats up these next couple months. I was going to call out just a couple here. Charlie Hall, who had fired a first round 63, seemed like she just kind of ran out of steam. Her final round 71, she just got lapped on Sunday, but a T11 for her. And then Nelly, T22. I think this is probably about as poorly as she could have played this weekend. She obviously did not go to Asia, so she's kind of ramping back up her competitive game. So yeah, Jordan, anything that sticks out to you?
Anything that stuck out to me? No, just another I guess good top 20 from my girl Ayaka Furue, which if I remember well, Cody was not on that block, and I'm gonna firmly stay there. And yeah, I was really impressed with that. On the Charlie
Well,
thing,
what about this, Jordan? Hold on, let me ask you this question. Saki Baba, we obviously saw her win the U.S. Women's Am. I don't know what year that was. Was it 2022? Does this surprise you at all? Was she somebody that profiled to have this type of game at the professional level?
I think I was a bit on the fence because I was like, okay, I want to see how well her game translates over stateside. And she didn't have a lot of experience stateside when she was an AM. She'd played in ANWA and she didn't play that well, but I'm very delighted to see her playing this well. I mean, I think having that experience on the Epson Tour really helped her out a lot. So, yeah, I think just getting more reps under her belt stateside has been tremendous for her. But no, I mean, Saki Bob is awesome. I just think again, it was kind of diversifying where she was playing and has
Yeah,
translated into how she's played. But yeah, good T6 from her.
just 19 years old. I think she's
Hmm.
younger than I don't know why I was thinking she was a few years older than that.
Biggie, I got one other shout out that I want to make here for people who made the cut. Coming in at T38, that's retired professional golfer Lexi Thompson. Fired rounds of 74, 66, 68, 69. Now, I say that tongue in cheek. Of course, not retired, but very much playing a modified schedule compared. And so far, if you compare her 2025 calendar to her 2024 calendar, the only event that she has missed so far this year was the Women's Saudi Invitational. She's
Hmm.
played in the exact same amount of events, just a little less travel overseas. So we'll see. But again, I think Lexi playing good golf, and she's a huge draw when she does show up. I'm very interested to see what her schedule actually turns out to be, because
Yeah.
if she's going to Arizona to play in this, I think we're going to see her in a lot more tournaments than anybody expects. Now, I think it's a lot of the
She's gonna
travel
be on
overseas
she's gonna be on the Solheim Cup team
for
next year. Like,
sure.
let's just
For
start
sure.
getting ourselves
I'll bring that
mentally
up.
prepared for that.
Randy, I asked that question to Captain Sanford, and I wanted to ask the follow-up question so bad because she mentioned Lexi like 3 other times in that interview,
Yeah.
and I wanted to just be like, "Hey, is there any way the Lexi is not on this team?" Because she's either gonna make it on points or she's gonna get a captain's pick.
Yeah. I think so too.
It's like the person who graduated high school that can't stay away from the
Yes.
seniors and wants to go to prom so bad.
The
Yeah.
other thing
She's
that
got a
came
little
out of
FOMO.
Yeah, the other thing that came out of there that I was, not really shocked. I wanted to ask the follow-up question, but again, she made it very clear, like, I'm not gonna announce my assistant captains yet. Paula Creamer is gonna be one of your assistant captains.
For
Like, how
sure.
many times do we have to mention the same name before I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm not just gonna force that upon you, but there you go. There's one of them."
Yeah, lots of time between now and the Solheim Cup, but it is funny to start thinking of it like that. On the miscut side, before we move on, tough week for the young Swedes. Maya Stark, Lynn Grant both missed the cut. Jin Young Ko surprisingly missed the cut. Yuka Sasso, I mean, kind of not surprisingly, I guess, missed the cut. I think this tournament was a little too easy for her. She only she only shows up when the conditions are tough. So we head to Shadow Creek this week. It's the LPGA match play. Guys, we're back to the original format. And if you remember last year, they tried a new format, which good on them for trying. I actually found it pretty enjoyable, where they had 36 holes of stroke play and then took the top 16 of that and went into match play after that. Well, this year we're back to 64 women being put into 16 groups of 4. You have round robin play amongst each group, with the winner then your 16 group winners going into a single elimination knockout match play on the weekend. So as of recording, we don't have those official brackets, but it looks like all the big names have confirmed for Shadow Creek. So should be a good event. That's going to start Wednesday. So you'll note a Wednesday start time there. And then we'll be on Golf Channel all through Sunday, the final. Guys, do you like the format? Do you find yourself caring about the change in format? I don't really care that much, I guess. But I did like seeing. Honestly, I thought what I liked most about the stroke play was just watching Shadow Creek being a stroke play venue. I thought was the most interesting thing.
Yes, right there with you, Big. But do I care? No, I don't think I do. Jordan?
Guys, I might care a little bit. I might care a
Oh,
little. I
Okay,
might
good.
care.
You're
So
mad as hell. You're fired up.
I'm mad as hell. I'm mad as hell, guys. Well, let me put it like this. First of all, but that format last year reminds me a lot of women's AMs, juniors, whatever. So it's kind of nice to not, I wouldn't say even like revert, but like a call back to something like that where a lot of those players have played in. And those are fun, and those are obviously very absent from the professional game. But I really was thinking about the concept of single elimination a lot, watching a lot of March Madness, Go Gators, and I think single elimination, where and when we can and where we can in sports, should be way more of a thing. It doesn't make sense for every sport, doesn't make sense for every league, but like just in general, I mean, high stakes like capsule play, I think is not only just more watchable, but you can create a little more virality and like I don't know. And like I know like in general in the LPGA, it's been we've pretty consistently seen the same names on the top of leaderboards, which is awesome. Truly, truly awesome for the LPGA as a product. But I think also true authentic match play is a great way to do that as well. We only get the Solheim Cup every other year now. And so yeah, I itch for stuff like that, and it feels kind of silly that they would revert back to that format. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bit pressed, just a little bit pressed.
Let the
I
record state, Jordan's just a little bit pressed on it.
I don't disagree with you. Of course, our defending champion is Nelly. She won last year 4-3 over Leona McGuire, which was a hell of a final. I think that's one we were all eagerly anticipating with Leona's Solheim Cup heroics. Quick question: if you could draw up your dream semifinal matchups, who would you have, Jordan?
Ooh, this one is a tough question.
Is it
I
that
think
tough?
going
I
back
figure
to
we'd all have like the same. There's probably like 6 names to choose from, and we'd probably have most of the same ones.
maybe Gino and Nelly, I think would be really fun if we could get to that. I would love something like that. And even going back to the previous conversation with Lydia and Lilia.
I know. I was gonna have. So I was thinking like if you could have Nelly versus Lilia, I think that would be a
Ooh,
great semifinal, and then yeah, like a Gino versus Lydia. I'm with you there in the other one. You know, obviously sign me up there. Cody, are you going off the wall?
No, I'm only going to introduce one new name here, Randy. I want to see the Nelly Lydia match. I think
Ooh,
about this all the time. I
yeah.
think about to their playoff last year at the drive on. It stays in my memory. And I want to see Gino. And I'm trying to think of somebody who's like can go round for round with Gino and might not have all the shots all the time, but will absolutely scramble their tail off and just be an absolute dog. And that's Charlie Hall. I
Yeah.
know Charlie, that was her
yeah.
first event last week. I think she just needs to get her legs underneath her, which is crazy because the girl does is work out all the time. But I mean, like tournament reps. I think this is going to be a massive year for Charlie Hall. It seems like everything is kind of like lining up and in a really good spot. Her golf, her personal life, everything else. I'm waiting for like what I wonder what that launching point is actually going to be. Like when is she finally just going to get up there and be like, no, I am not only top 5, but like I want to be in the top 3 in the world.
Because you kind of felt that way after Walton Heath a couple
Mm-hmm.
years ago. You kind of felt that way after Pebble Beach, and it's not that she's played poorly, but we just haven't seen her take that leap into the top 5. So yeah, that's a good call out. I was almost thinking too, like a Charlie versus Nelly Solheim Cup rematch where Charlie kind of body bagged her. What was that, 5-4?
It was bad.
That would be a good one. So yeah, LPGA match play. It's going to be a great kind of complimentary viewing, I think, to ANWA this week. So check that out. Starting Wednesday, Golf Channel all weekend. Guys, before we get to ANWA, I want to thank our other sponsor today. That is our good friends at FanDuel. Whether you're dialed in every shot or just following the action on Sunday, FanDuel keeps you locked in to the PGA Tour and LPGA Tour all week long. Right now, all customers get a profit boost every third and fourth round each week. Use your boost on anything from closest to the pin to outright winners to top 20 and 30 bets and more. Plus, you can stack those bets to make a parlay. I will say they already have LPGA match play odds up on the site. If you go to golf and then kind of toggle over to women's golf, LPGA, you can find the match play. They don't have, as of again, recording specific odds because we're awaiting the groups, but check those out this week. And if that's not enough, you can also track your favorite golfers in the app with live leaderboards, player shot tracking, streaming coverage for 2 featured par 3 holes. That's more on the PGA side, and tons more. Head on over fanduel.com/NLU to step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the PGA Tour and LPGA Tour with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. All right. We mentioned it is the 6th annual ANWA, the Augusta National Women's Am. This is going to start Wednesday as well. So Golf Channel afternoon, 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Both Wednesday and Thursday are the first two rounds. They will be off Friday, and then it will conclude on Saturday afternoon. This is going to be an NBC production from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC is the final round at Augusta National. Jordan, let's go to you. I asked you to kind of bring some preview thoughts to this episode, and a couple of those are your favorites to win, and also some storylines. Which area would you like to start?
Play my music. I don't know. What are you guys feeling? Narratives? You guys feeling
Let's start
things?
with storylines. I'm feeling
Okay.
storylines.
So I think probably one of the most interesting things about this year is this the first year of ANWA that's concurrent with the LEAP, the LPGA Elite Amateur Pathway standings, which there's no limit on winning such tournaments. So if, theoretically, not to get super ahead, if Lottie Wood was to repeat, she could earn another 2 points and so forth, which I'll get into. But yeah, I think that's really fascinating considering how many opportunities winning ANWA gives a player. So just as a reminder, not only do you get to go back to the next, I think, 5 ANWAs, you also get to play in the US Women's Open, the Women's Open, the Chevron, and the Evian. So that is a lot of leap point potential. I also want to sidebar really quickly. It's called the LPGA Elite Amateur Pathway. Are you like allowed to have an acronym within an acronym?
It's a great
Good
question.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
don't know
I
if I like
guess,
that.
right? They're going for it.
Yeah. What else were they supposed to call it? I don't know, but I just want to call that out.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's important.
Let's quickly review the standings because everybody in the top 5 of the leap will be in ANWA this week. So Lottie Woad, I would say, is the one to watch. She currently has 16 points. You need 20 to earn LPGA status. Just as a reminder, she's still a junior in college, so she still has time, theoretically, to work on this. And then second is Anna Davis with 8, a sophomore in college. She got time. Rachel Heck is 6. She's also in the field this week, even though she is not a collegiate. I will touch on that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Rachel Heck and Jasmine Koo both tied at 6 points. Jasmine Koo, the freshman at USC, who we have an interview with at the end of this podcast. So that'll be
That's right.
fun.
Stick around.
Stick around. And at 5th is tied a 3-way tie. So Hannah Darling, Rianne Maliksi, and Catherine Park are tied with 5 points.
So I guess like Lottie Woad, this is, I mean, we know Rachel Heck's story. I'm just thinking it's surprising to me how far out ahead Lottie Woad is compared to the other women.
Yeah, it's cut in half when you go to second. It jumps from 16 to 8. Like nobody's there except for her. So she's the one to watch this week because if she is to repeat, massive implications for that and her future. So I think that's really cool that we have that to think about as we're watching the ANWA. Good crop of juniors this year. Gianna Clement returns for, I believe it's her 3rd ANWA. And then a couple other names, Asterisk Tally, we all know from Curtis Cup, runner-up at the Junior Am and the Women's Am. Rianne Maliksi also coming back for another ANWA. Someone I really want to highlight coming out of Korea, Soo-min Oh. She's been a really fascinating amateur. She played at the BMW. I'm not sure if you guys saw that, but she was just phenomenal. Doesn't play a ton of stateside golf. She did play in Sage Valley and placed really well there. I believe she placed in the top 5. But she's someone to keep an eye on too. I'd be curious to see how she plays in Augusta this week. That's a few names to highlight. That's a total of about, I think, 2, 4, 5 juniors of note. And then Stanford, well represented as usual. 6 active Stanford competitors on the roster, 1 alumni in Rachel Heck. But USC and FSU have the best players in the world, which I thought was really interesting because I don't think we usually see such concentration at the top like that when it comes to college and the best amateurs in the world. Like usually you'll have like, one player that's the best, or maybe like, the Rosang and Rachel Heck duo, that was a thing for a while. But Lottie Wode and Mirabel Ting and Jasmine Koo and Catherine Park are some of the best 5 players in the world. And I think that is a very fascinating storyline to follow.
Absolutely. What do you said you were going to touch on Rachel? I'm so glad they invited her, and I'm so glad she's playing.
I'm so glad they invited her. I'm so glad she's playing. She ended her college career on a good note, and she's still playing competitive amateur golf, which is cool. I think what's interesting is we're seeing a crop of, and I don't want to call them mid-ams because they're not mid-am aged, but a crop of older players playing in this year's ANWA. So Rachel Heck would be included in that crop, but also Katarina Dawn, who played at Georgia. She's now an assistant coach. I forgot where she's the assistant coach, but she is an assistant coach in college golf now. And Phoebe Brinker is also back for ANWA. I found Phoebe Brinker to be really interesting, not to super single her out, but she's ranked pretty high in Wagger in terms of like being back. I think she's like in the 130s, and she's missed the cut every time at ANWA. So I found that invitation very interesting.
Katarina Dawn, I can say, is an assistant at Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan.
Proud MAC member. Yeah. I'm with you. I hope, obviously this tournament is still kind of in its infancy in a lot of ways, but I hope that we do get to the point where we can have mid-ams and we run the spectrum of women's amateur golfers, and it's not just your juniors and your top college amateurs getting ready to turn pro. I think it would make for just a more compelling, fun event with more inclusion from mid-am. And I mean, hell, if there's a senior am that's worthy, like, I think that would be really cool as well. So something to keep an
The
eye on
mid-am
there.
champ gets invited to the Masters. If you want that smoke, you should be able to
I
go.
know. I know. All right, Jordan. Well, you touched on some names. Who, in terms of like threats to win the tournament, who exactly are we looking at here? Who would you say are the 2, 3, 4 favorites?
I think I've said at least 4 out of the 5 names I'm going to list so far. So excuse my repetition, but do we want to run back in reverse order from 5 to 1?
Yo, I love running back in reverse order. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Fifth favorite,
Um,
and all complaints, all mea culpas, these are all going to be directed directly to Jordan at the end of the tournament.
I can take it, guys. I can take it. So number 5, I probably picked her to win before at some point. Maria Jose Marin. She's historically made the cut both years that she's played ANMA. Best player out of Arkansas since Maria Fossey, but I think she probably has a little bit of a higher ceiling. Her big moments are only getting bigger. She played really well at Southern Hills last year during the women's am and got out on a bad injury. And I always wonder what would have happened if she didn't have to withdraw mid match. But I think her past year and her experience here and not necessarily being like a center of attention really sets her up well to have a good run this week.
Good number 5. Would not have been on my radar. Let's go to number 4.
Number 4. Okay, so I would say 4 through 1, I had a pretty tough time with. You, in theory, could jumble all these names up in any random order, and I'd say, yeah, sure, sounds great. But this is what I landed on. Number 4, Jasmine Koo. The expectations are a lot higher for her. She's had incredible freshman year. I think making the cut will be easier for someone like her with her kind of game and how she could play Champions Retreat, especially with her length. But I think she can go into Augusta a little bit more of a mature, confident player. Something that she said to me, she said a couple things in her interview that really stood out to me, and I won't spoil it. I was about to, but I won't spoil it. I caught myself. But there are some interesting reflections she had playing last year that I think set her up well to. I mean, she finished tied for 4th last year, but I really think she could make a pretty formidable run this year.
Number 3. I'm like, God, 3. You like 3 better than Jasmine Koo? Okay, let's
I
hear
like
them.
3 better than Jasmine Koo, and you know why I
Okay.
like
Did
3
you
better
tell
than
Jasmine
Jasmine
that
Koo?
to her face?
I didn't tell Jasmine that to her
Okay.
face. Jasmine, if you're
Okay.
listening, I'm so sorry. Lottie Wode is why I like 3 better than 4.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Defending champ. That's
Defending
I can't
champ,
argue with
and
that.
it feels like I'm underrating her a lot. And I would say as far as post ANWA careers go, I think she's got the second best one under her belt so far. And maybe that feels a little early to say, given that it's only been a year that she's had the title. But she's done everything possible to maintain that best player in the world ranking. It's not, hey, I got this ranking and I got a bunch of exemptions into majors and invites, and now I'm, just fluffing it up a little bit. She's played some exceptional golf. I don't think she gets the fanfare she deserves, so I don't know. Maybe that's why she's not quite on the radar as much as she should be. But to kind of put that in perspective a little bit, she's not had a finish worse than third her entire collegiate season since the fall started. Low-ammed at the Women's Open, if you guys remember, that was
I do.
fabulous. And won a
A
Curtis
top
Cup
10. She finished tied for
and top
10th as
10
a low
and a
am.
top
Yeah.
10. Yeah, right there. And won a Curtis Cup with a squad who did not have the same talent level as the Americans. Just all incredible stuff. She also played probably the toughest ANWA conditions-wise last year, so I just wouldn't be surprised to see her repeat. I mean, she's kind of seen this course or both courses in varying lights, and I don't know. I know there's the element of pressure and spotlight and the talk of being the defending champion, but she just is so poised and handles the stuff so well that it just wouldn't shock me in the slightest to see her win again.
I think I know where you're going with this. I think there's really only been one person in the world consistent enough in the women's amateur game over the last year to kind of beat Lottie pretty handedly, and they just happen to be on the same team. Is that the direction we're going?
That's the direction we're going, Cody. That's
Wow.
exactly the direction we're going.
All right, who's 2?
Number 2 is Miss Mirabelle Ting on another Florida State Seminole who has not one, not two, not three, but 5 collegiate wins this season. She's just stellar. Her scoring average is a 66, guys. That is insane.
Seems good. Yeah.
Seems good. Tied for 8th last year, so she once again has great championship experience. Spent a lot of time early in her college career in the Augusta area. She went to Augusta University before she transferred to Florida State. She's always been an exceptional ball striker, but I was reading an article from Brentley Romine this morning about her putting, and her head coach, Amy Bond, was saying that her putting has improved tremendously. So I know another person, another Florida State Seminole who could have a lot of pressure on them, but I think Mirabelle is dangerous, and I am thrilled to see what she can do this week.
Finished T8 here last year, as you said. So, some success for sure. All right, now you got me like,
I know. Who
could
is it?
possibly be in the top spot if Mirabelle's won 6 times this year?
Comparatively, I feel like because I came in with the receipts, I came in with everything, and I think you guys might be like, this is a little dark horsey. I don't know, because I think Catherine Park has been exceptional this past
Whoa.
year.
Okay.
Did I throw you for a loop there?
A little bit. I mean, I thought you were going to go with like U.S. Women's Amateur Champion. She also won the Girls Amateur Championship. She's not even in your top 5.
She's
Okay,
not even
but
in my top 5.
I gotcha.
She would be my 6th for sure.
Yeah. Catherine
Yes,
Park,
but
very good.
Catherine Park.
Stud. Absolute stud.
I've always thought she was an incredible player, especially seeing her up close last year at Meadow Club. And then I know she didn't have the finish that she wanted at ANWA. See,
I know.
It's okay.
This will truly be till the end of time.
Till the end of time. But after the U.S. Women's Open last year, I'm so in on Catherine Park. I could not be more in on her game. And I think she comes into this championship completely flying under the radar. She has her head coach, Justin Silverstein, on the bag again this year. And I think she will just she might eviscerate some folks. She really might.
That's a bold position, JP, and I like it. That's KVV. You stuck your neck out there for it. I mean, I don't think if people want to go look at the Wager right now, we basically just went down like the top 6 in the world. We might have mentioned like somebody out there in like 8th or 9th position, but I agree with you, JP. I think it's going to be an awesome event. I think that pressure to defend on Lottie is going to be intense.
Yeah.
And I just, maybe if she's had a better spring, but you hit the nail on the head with Mirabelle. I mean, she's just on fire right now. Very, very good picks.
I think
Cody, who
what's
would be?
tough.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. No, go ahead.
What's tough is usually the favorite almost never wins this tournament. It's
Hmm.
always someone that comes flying under the radar.
Yeah.
And I like to play it safe classically in all my picks. I think you guys know that. And so that's why I had to stick my neck out a little bit and pick Catherine.
God, I want you could have thrown out no love for Anna Davis, having a heck of a year too. I mean, not
Great
even a
year.
mention so far.
Great year. Great year. And she's probably got a little bit of a chip on her shoulder now after these
For
past 2
sure.
years.
For sure.
So Jordan, Catherine Park being like your number one power rank, is that your official pick to win?
It's my official pick to win. Stamping
Okay.
it.
Cody, are you prepared to make an official pick to win?
Yeah, Mirabelle Ting. It's very hard not to go against the grain with the hottest player in the women's game right now.
I guess that leaves me to make an official pick. Gosh, I always like to try to go off the board, but honestly, I'm going to join the Maribel Ting bandwagon. Maribel, I was unfamiliar with how many wins you were stacking up this year.
Yeah.
Hand up, that's on me. All right, Jordan, thank you for that power ranking. Before we get to the Jasmine Koo interview, I have a little bit of ANWA trivia. All right, we have a 12-pack of ANWA trivia, but we're going to do this a little differently. But I'm going to direct the questions to both Cody and Jordan. Okay, so you're each going to get 6 questions. We're going to see who does better. I'm guessing Jordan.
This is such BS. Why are you
All right,
not
no
included?
cheating.
You should have had Jordan do this and ask us.
That
It's
would
what
have
we did
probably
last
been
year.
better. Yeah, that would have probably been better. But
We had to
we're
switch it
gonna.
up, I think.
Yeah, we need a little. We need a little freshener. All right, Cody, you get the first question. All right. Has there been an ace at Augusta National in the history of this event?
No.
That's right. 1 for 1.
Thank
No.
you.
But I will say there's been an ace at Champions Retreat. That was 2023, the 8th hole by Bohyun Park. So there you go. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say there's going to be an ace this year on Saturday at Augusta. Jordan, no pressure, but Cody's on the board here. Who holds the record for the most birdies in one entire tournament? So across all 3 rounds.
I got 3 names to mind, but I think it's Rosang.
It's not Rose Zhang. So who are the other names in mind?
Jennifer Kupcho and Lottie Wood.
No, unbelievably, none of those. She made 16 birdies in 2023 and did not win. That's Jenny Bay, if you remember the 2023 edition.
Whoa.
Yes. All right, Cody, you got a 1-0 lead. Who said you weren't going to win this? All right, Cody, here's your next question. How many majors have been won? LPGA majors have been won by ANWA participants.
Cody.
This is tough, guys.
By ANWA participant, do you mean participants or winners?
Participants.
Whoa. Ooh.
3.
God, that's such a good guess. It's 4.
Thank you. Oh, well, it's a pure guess.
Of course, we have Jen Kupcho, former winner. She's won 1. Alison Corpuz is a former participant. She's won 1. And then the other woman, Yuka Sasso, former participant. She's won 2.
Year 1.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Good effort there. Jordan, back to you. One participant has won Rookie of the Year on both the LET and LPGA tours. Who is it?
Oh. Cody, you're smiling like you know the answer to this. Oh. These are good questions.
The best
They're
questions.
hard.
These are
Yeah.
excellent questions. I'm drawing so many blanks.
Cody, would you like to steal?
I mean, I'm second guessing myself. It's got to be Gino, right? Did Gino
That's
play in the
right.
Okay.
That's right. She
I was-
participated and missed the cut the very first year.
right.
I
Because
forgot
I'm
about
trying
that.
to think. I don't think any of the other ones would have won LET Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Gino Titicum. All right, Cody, back to you. How many defending ANWA champions are in the field this year?
3.
That's right. Can you name them?
No.
Well, I know you can name 2.
Yeah,
Can I
yeah.
steal that part of the question?
Lottie and Anna Davis.
Yes, Jordan. Who's the 3rd defending champion in the field this year?
Tsubasa Kajitani.
That's right. That's right. Very good. Jordan, Bailey Shoemaker has the low round at Augusta National when she shot a 66 last year, but she does not hold the record for low back nine at Augusta National. What is the record for the low back nine at Augusta National? And bonus points if you can tell me one of the 3 women who hold the record.
1 of 3? I'm stumped.
Is this me for a steal?
Sure. Jump in for a steal.
Well, I know. I only say Jen Kupcho. She had an
That's
eagle on her
right.
back nine.
That's right. She's 1 of 3.
Yep.
So the low back nine at Augusta National is 32. Jen Kupcho did it the year she won. Saki Baba did it.
Mm.
And Asterix Tally did
Nice.
it last year. Yeah.
Oh.
Cody's kind of whipping you, Jordan. All right. Next
I'm
question.
so glad Cody's exposing me. I think this is great. This is what the people need to know.
Cody, Champions Retreat, the home of the first 2 rounds of the ANWA.
And the home of that guy in his fishing boat always. What
That's
hole is that
right.
on when he's on cover? Just out there casting away.
What's the low tournament round at Champions Retreat and bonus points for who has it?
I don't know.
She has it alone.
65.
It is at 65.
Really?
Yes. Come on. Guess who did it?
Well, it's got to be Rose because she usually stunk it at Augusta.
Round
National.
2.
That's it. That's it. You got it. 2023. Rose Zhang, 65. 2nd round at Champions Retreat. All right, Jordan, we just have a few questions here left. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. Jordan, we know that Ataya Titicum won LET Rookie of the Year. How many other ANWA participants have gone on to win LET Rookie of the Year?
2.
That's right. Can you name either or both?
No.
One I think is very gettable. The other I would be amazed if either of you got it.
No clue.
Okay, one is Lynn Grant.
Correct.
And the other is Chiara Tamberlini.
Ooh,
All
deep
right.
cut.
That is a deep cut. Cody, what's the best finish by a Korean player in the history of ANWA? I'll even give you a hint. It was in 2023.
I don't know. 3rd?
A tie for 5th is only the best by a Korean player, which was somewhat surprising to me. Ji-Yu Lim in 2023 finished tied for 5th. Jordan, how many participants of this event have gone on to win on the LPGA Tour? Is it above or below 8?
How many participants have gone on to win on the LPGA Tour? That's the question?
Different winners, yes, on the
Different
LPGA
winners.
Tour.
I would say I don't want to count these live. Below 8.
It's actually above. 10
Whoa.
separate ANWA participants have gone on to win on the LPGA Tour. Cody, similar question. How many alumni, former participants in ANWA, have gone on to win on the LET Tour? Is it above or below 11?
Above.
That's right. 14 different women have gone on to win on the LET Tour. All right, last
go to
question.
The convenience store today, boys. I'm gonna get some scratchers and you name it. It's really good, wild guesses.
Last question. There are 9 total countries that have never had a participant make the cut at an ANWA event. Okay, 9 countries have sent women to ANWA but have never had one make the cut? Cody, can you name one of those countries?
Canada.
No, Canada is incorrect. Jordan, can you name one of those countries?
9 total countries, right? I got 9 to
Yes.
pick from?
Have sent participants but have never had one make the cut.
Let's go China.
China is incorrect. We have Argentina, Belgium, the Czech Republic, Ireland, which surprises me, New Zealand, Paraguay, Singapore, Slovenia, and Switzerland are your 9 countries that have sent women to represent themselves at the ANWA who have not made the cut. And that concludes, guys, everybody's favorite yearly game, the ANWA trivia. I hope you had as much fun as I did putting those.
Cody,
questions.
you cooked.
Unbelievable.
Cooked.
All right. Well, enjoy the golf this week. We have the match play going. We have ANWA. It's going to be a busy, busy week on Golf Channel. So happy viewing. Jordan, I can't wait to listen to your interview with Jasmine Koo. She could win this week. Very
She
easily
could very
could
well
win.
win. 4 wins to her freshman year so far at USC. Incredible, incredible year.
Thank you for joining, guys. Enjoy the week, and we will see you next time.
Jasmine, thank you so much for hopping on the podcast. I am so excited to talk to you. I've been following your career for a while now, and you're probably the most exciting person in amateur golf to me right now. I truly am just so stoked to have this conversation. I mean, you've just had whirlwind of a last year, and I feel like your freshman year at USC, it doesn't even feel like a breakout, honestly. You've kind of been on the scene for a while. I mean, I think anyone that knows amateur golf well knows you. Let's kick it off right here. You are at USC right now. What's life been like on campus as a freshman?
Life has been pretty busy, especially in the spring. I think fall was so much fun. Like having that freedom, it's like no parents, that was so new and so exciting. And then like you hit the spring and you're traveling so much and you have so much homework and you're like, all right, this is life.
So a little chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You look like you've been handling it well, though. And let's reflect on that last year. I mean, you had ever since ANWA in 2024, it feels like everything has just gone 0 to 100, so to speak. Low am at Chevron, big run at the girls junior, Curtis Cup, and now just this incredible year at USC. How have you processed all that success?
I don't think I have processed it yet, honestly. When I go to a tournament, I don't go to the tournament thinking, oh, I'm the best player in the field. Like I don't really think that. I still am that 16-year-old girl playing AJGA Opens. Deep down. Yeah.
Can you define that? Like, are you just kind of entering it more in a chill mindset? What does that mean?
That means when I go to a tournament, I'm I'm basically there to play golf. It's almost as if like somebody who wants to play a public course have a couple of beers on the course. Like it's kind of that mindset, just I guess more intense. I just try to go out there and play like the best golf that I can, not really thinking. I mean, it's you obviously do think about like the competition, like where you want to win your ranking. It comes in your head, but I try not to think about it. I try to approach a tournament as it's just a golf course and it's golf and it's a sport. You're just trying to have fun.
You seem to gel so well on teams like we saw in the Curtis Cup and now at USC. Does that relax you?
Yeah, I think having a friend there, having someone by your side is definitely something that helps you. It just takes kind of like the like the rigor off of golf because it takes the individual part out.
So before we dive further into the present day, I want to learn a little bit more about your golf story. Where does it start and who got you into it?
Golf is it's so random because my parents do not play golf. I don't even think they played any sports. But when we were younger, me and my brother, I have an older brother, they put us through a bunch of sports and then a golf academy was one of them. And so yeah, we just thought it was like really fun, and it was like a once a week every Saturday for an hour thing. And I did competitive swimming growing up, actually took swimming very, very seriously. And once swimming kind of hit like a plateau, obviously because of like height and genetic issues, it was like, okay, maybe I'll play golf. Like golf is kind of fun, like it's something I could do. And when I was like 11, 12, I've made the switch to golf, and it's worked out pretty well, I would say.
Why do you still play golf?
Why do I still play golf? Because I don't want to sound cocky, but because I'm good at it.
No, that's perfect. To substantiate that, you're the only other Trojan, aside from Annie Park, to win 3 consecutive tournaments, and then with your win at Meadow Club, you tied the program record for tournament wins. How do you continuously find ways to keep elevating your game?
There's always going to be an issue with your game, and you just keep working on it. You just keep finding like problems, I guess, in a healthy way. You just keep finding problems with your game. Like right now, my wedges aren't perfect. Right now, my putting speed isn't perfect. And I'm just going to keep working on that, keep working on bettering myself. And if I succeed in those, then that means I'll eventually win tournaments.
Is there a satisfaction when you find the answer, or is it more of just excitement from kind of discovering the problem? You're like, okay, I know I can fix this.
I don't think fix is very like, I don't know if fix is the right word to use, because I don't think you can ever fix it. I don't think you can ever master any of the problems that you're going through, golf wise, skill wise. And the satisfaction comes from knowing I did better, knowing I improved, or even just winning a golf tournament, being like at the top of the leaderboard. It's satisfying.
Totally. I think the general audience has kind of gotten to know you from some pretty viral shots, viral moments. The chevron shot that bounced off the platform, that one exploded. Then when you hit driver off deck at the Curtis Cup, that also exploded. But I really want to know how Jasmine Koo defines her golf game.
I am pretty wild. And one of the reasons why I think I started playing well in college is my coaches have helped me dial my wildness down. I like to shape shots. I like to hit fades. I like to hit big hooks around trees. Kind of just be creative. Role model in golf is Tiger Woods. He's the same way. That's how I would define myself. Just pretty freelancer. Really like to go for pins when sometimes I shouldn't.
Okay, I'm going to touch on that a little bit more because that is really fascinating of an approach. But in terms of your time at USC and how you've kind of tamed that wild side, if you will, I heard from your coach, Justin Silverstein, that you especially admire Catherine Park's game, and just Kathy as a person. I would love to hear more about that and her influence on you.
Oh yeah, Kathy, aka Kathy Barra. She's like the sunlight of her team, if you could say. Like, she's she's just a person that when you enter the room, like everything just becomes not boring. Like all the boredom just gets sucked away when she enters the room. And like person as a person, I don't ever see a situation where someone can say anything negative about her. And as a golfer, I really respect her golf game because it's so different than mine. There's this thing we do called the line test. It's basically there's a straight line in the simulator room, and you're just hitting balls as straight as you can. And when I do it, it's like usually draw or fade. When I hit it good, it's a draw or fade into the straight line. But hers is like every single shot is just on the white line, on the white line. Like it's an arrow. And like I just think that's so impressive how she can do that.
If I know a thing or two about USC, it's that players come out tour ready. What's your long-term plan?
My long term plan it's to go pro, hopefully. To be number one in the world, hopefully. Just to dominate. I just want to be like better and better.
Did you always have a plan to go to college, or was it something that you came around to? How did that decision come about?
Yeah, I always planned on going to college because when I was a junior golfer, I wouldn't say I was like at the top of my class. So in junior golf, I always had college in mind because I never knew if I could go pro or not. As like as like a skill level, I didn't know if I was good enough or talented enough to go pro. And so college was always in my mind because I was like, oh, like I really want to do something that apart from golf that I could have a stable career in. And then I got recruited committed to USC. And then that's when I started playing better. And I was like, oh, wait, maybe I do have the talent to go pro. But then, like, I started growing a relationship with Justin. And that once it came time to enter, there was just no thought of, like, I'm not going to go to college. There was just no thought of that.
So it was more so later in your junior golf career where you became fully certain, but then also certain of post-college plans.
Yes, exactly.
What has that relationship with Justin been like?
Very, I can't find the word for it. It's very interesting. Justin and I have expectations for each other. And I got to be careful with what I say because I know he's going to listen to this. But I think right now I'm focusing on just meeting his expectations because I know that if I do meet his expectations, I'll be better. I'll be tour ready and I'll just be the person, the golfer that I want to be. So a lot of trust in that. From me to him, a lot of trust in that relationship for sure.
You're coming into your second ANWA, your second Augusta National Women's Amateur, in a little bit of a different place in your career, being in college, having, a little more experience under your belt. What are your expectations this time, and where's your confidence level now?
Much higher than last time. Last year was kind of me just going in and being like, all right, I just want to make the cut, you know? And then this year I'm going in and I'm like, all right, let's win this thing. So that's the switch. That's the difference. Difference is because last year, I got fourth last year, which was completely unexpected. I was like, wait, like I actually kind of came close to winning. Even though the score was off, like I was kind of close to number one on the leaderboard. And I was like, oh wow, like that's pretty cool. So this year I'm definitely going in of a mindset like, all right, let's go to win. Let's not go to make the cut. Let's go to win.
Do you go into a tournament like ANWA with the same kind of wild side approach, like wanting to take riskier shots, etc., or do you feel like you've got to especially tame that?
I think I need to tame it because it's a hard course, not because of the scale of the tournament. Because the course that I'm playing at is really hard, and I know that I just can't hit whatever shot I want, or else I'll be punished for it.
Do you feel that way about both Champions Retreat and Augusta?
I feel like Champions Retreat is harder than Augusta. Hot take, but I found Champions Retreat so much harder. Probably also because of the wind. It was blowing a lot more at Champions than Augusta.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot in terms of like a lot of players saying like it feels a lot more difficult, and especially last year. Yes, the conditions last year were something else.
Yeah, Augusta just feels more like surreal. Just like standing on the grass at Augusta, it's just like, whoa. And Champions Retreat is like, whoa, this golf course is challenging.
So I maybe can guess which hole it is, but what's your favorite hole at Augusta?
What do you think it is?
I want to say one of the ones you eagled on, 8 or 15. But if it's not, I'll
Okay.
be
Yes,
surprised.
it is. So 50-50 chance.
Which one is it?
It's 15.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that one was pretty special. Probably my best golf memory I have to this day. 15.
Walk me through what you like about it.
I like how it's a reachable par 5, and I like how both shots you have to hit a good shot to be rewarded. And I like the grandstands. I like how many people there are. Yeah, and I like the opportunities that that hole gives you.
Speaking of grandstands and just other things on the course, I listened to an interview that you did with the AJGA, and you mentioned that seeing a leaderboard typically scares you during a tournament, but on that day it didn't. I guess, do you still feel that way? I mean, like, what changed for you during that round?
that round was just unlike anything I've ever played. Um, that round, you can't not look at the leaderboard at ANWA. It's kind of just right in front of your face, like unless you like fully close your eyes and turn your back. But looked at the leader. I had the superstition that every time I look at the leaderboard, I make a bogey. It's not really that way anymore because in college golf, I'm always on the leaderboard. I'm always scrolling through who, yeah. Like I just like to see what my team did. But that round was just like I don't even know. Like I just hit the shots and like some of them went in, some of them didn't. It was just like pretty cool. I kind of just went through that day just like I don't like not really going through it, but like just like riding on every bit of momentum that I had.
So, like, safe to say, ANWA 2024, massive confidence booster.
Yes, yes. But I think more so than that, the Chevron was more of a confidence booster. More than the
Really?
yeah. Because the Chevron is like I'm playing with like the best in the world. And so this is the competition that I'm striving for. This is the end goal and like this is where I placed in the end goal. So it kind of made more sense. Like there was more of a logic to the confidence that I got from the Chevron, more so than the ANWA.
Did you spend that week starstruck, or were you just kind of like, hey, like, I'm here to do my thing?
I think I was starstruck because if Nelly Corda is hitting right in front of you, there's like, yeah, it's hard not to get starstruck. Yeah,
Who was, I guess, aside from Nelly, who else did you see and you were just starstruck or in awe of?
Nelly, Lynn Grant, Charlie Hall, Lydia. Yeah. Oh, I saw Charlie Hall smoking a cigarette, and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw it in real life finally.
That's so cool. Bucket list item.
Yeah. No, literally.
So I have to ask because I was doing some social media creeping, if you will. You have a food account. So let's go back to ANWA for a second. The food at ANWA between Champions and between Augusta National is just crazy. For anyone who's ever been there knows that like it feels like your options for food are just limitless. So I have to ask, what is your favorite food to eat that week?
That week, probably the food trucks. There's like a food truck stand,
Yeah.
uh, a variety of food trucks, and there was this steak taco salad that I had, and it was the only taco salad that I've ever enjoyed in my life. But it was outstanding. Like I cannot
Wow.
describe how delicious it was. Like I think I liked it even better than the steak at the Champions dinner.
Okay, for those who aren't as familiar with the ANWA Champions Dinner Night, can you kind of explain what that is? Because that's pretty special too. That's the eve before the tournament starts.
Hmm. That night is you just get treated like princesses. Like you feel like a Disney princess. You walk in the doors, you're all dressed up. You see everybody in their green jackets, and you're going in, you're getting served these really exquisite meals. The best way to describe it is surreal. You don't really understand what's going on because of how surreal it is. Well, I think maybe I felt that way because it was my first year. This year it's a goal of mine to kind of take everything in, to go to the champions dinner and be like, where am I sitting down right now? Like the chairman of Augusta National speak, and he's right in front of me congratulating us. What does this mean? Like, where am I sitting? It's just I'm just trying to take it all in. Last year, I don't think I could have because of how many big things were going on.
Who did you sit with last year at the Champions Dinner?
I honestly don't remember.
So it's
Yeah.
just a week of maybe overwhelm, is what it sounds like. And now you're feeling a little more, okay, I know the lay of the land. I know how this goes. Like, I can actually stop for a second and I guess smell the azaleas, for lack of a better word.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Cool. That's awesome. No, it's such a surreal experience, at least on the outside of what it looks like. I mean, you guys get to do so many cool things, and it's just a such a unique week, truly. But going back to the food account, and for our listeners who don't know, Jasmine has a food account she runs on the side named the 902 Home Cook channel on Instagram. And I want to read the bio. Welcome to Room 902, where the most scrumptious meals are made in our humble kitchen. Join us on our journey to the freshman 15. Gotta know where the inspiration for this came from, and I gotta know the udon recipe because that looked amazing.
There was no inspiration. It's run by me and a teammate, the freshman on team, Kylie. Me and Kylie's dynamic is really weird. Whenever we're around each other, just the two of us, we get really weird, I guess you could say. Like, we would just start dancing out of nowhere and just like laughing at each other's at our dances, and then we recreate it, something like that. And like one night we were just like, we cook so much at home, like we should post this. And then the bio came off like out of the top of my head, just like 2 seconds, just scrumptious, delicious meals. Oh, freshman 15, like it literally, like there was no inspiration. Just we cook a lot. We should post it because we're funny and our meals look good. Yeah, that's it.
How does your cooking arrangement work? Are you like in a proper dorm where there's no like kitchen? Do you have a communal kitchen? How does it work?
We have a kitchen in our dorm. It's so
Oh,
clutch.
wow.
Yeah, it's very clutch.
That's awesome. So a full kitchen?
Like an oven and everything.
Wow. Okay. No, that's awesome. That's so cool. What's your favorite thing you've made so far?
Probably the braised tofu. If you look in my Instagram account, you can see it. But the braised tofu was really good, and it took the longest to make. So
How long?
like an hour. Yeah.
Oh my
And all the
God.
side dishes, you know how all the side dishes are like, some of them are the same like every post? Like
Yes.
all the side dishes are made, some of them are made that we make them, and like those take forever to make. So I think when I made the tofu, it was like I had to make three of the side dishes on with the tofu on top of that. So that's why it took so long.
Are you
Oh,
having like big team dinners and serving them? How does this work? Is it
no,
usually dinner for two?
it's just dinner for two.
Oh my gosh. Leftovers for days though.
No, we eat all of it.
Oh,
We
yes. I love
ears,
that.
big ears.
And I guess my final question is, since we're ending up on a food note, if you won the Masters, what would your menu be?
Oh my gosh, this is such a hard question. I think I would do pasta or steak just to have something universal that everybody likes. Gosh, and then I need something that's like really special. Oh, there's this one Korean dish called kimchi jjigae, which is a stew that my mom makes. It's like a soul food. And I think I'd serve that because it's my favorite food. And I want other people to experience that.
That's like honest mix, honestly. It's like it's a little bit of you and then it's a little bit of something for everybody. That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love that. Well, Jasmine, thank you so much for coming on. You so much for talking about your journey and for getting into some food because that was a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks for having me.
FanDuel disclaimer: must be 21 and older and present in select states. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.